Commissioner.
Good morning. Thank you so much for being here. I just love the vibe.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much. If we can silence all the phones, that would be great. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. It is a pleasure and honor to have this round table with Commissioner Mayuga. So, Commissioner Mayuga, how long have you been there?
Oh my gosh, on the job? Like I started March 1st.
March 1st.
So,
So,
not even 2 months yet.
and I can tell you that the mayor has, when he spoke to you, all these initiatives, say, I'm the commissioner to all these initiatives, especially for the workers of New York City and the delivery workers, the people who were vital during the pandemic, and they kept the city running. And on behalf of the mayor and everybody, I want to say thank you to all of them. And today we're gonna work on. The commission is going to answer all these questions. So, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have, after the remarks from the commissioner, we're gonna have one question per reporter, and we're gonna do a second round. So since we have high number of reporters today, but I think we're gonna have time for a second question. Commissioner?
Thank you so much, Jose. Welcome, everybody. Good morning. It is really wonderful to see all of you. I think I love meeting with the media, right? Like you are really our voice out there and our ears too, because you're going to help us get the word out. I always say that there's no there's no greatness in the laws that the city council passes that we're charged with implementing if people don't know about them. And we really rely on you. Government does great work, but we do know that not everybody reaches it, comes to us for like answers to their questions and things like that, or to get information primarily. So we really rely in all of the media out there to connect, especially with our most vulnerable populations, those who perhaps weren't born or raised here or don't speak English very well and are not used to coming to government to access information. So thank you. It's really great to be here with all of you. Oh my gosh, what can I say? I think all of us, right? I mean, we're here during the pandemic. I know it's still ongoing. And while so many of us were at the comfort of our home, at least some of us, I know I had that privilege, we constantly rely on all of these delivery workers to keep us fed, honestly. When we didn't want to go somewhere to get our foods, they were the ones who were really out there, and they never took a break. They were never just shielded 100% from the impacts of the pandemic. And so we're so happy that we finally have some protections in place to address their specific reality, their specific needs. And we are hoping that you help us also get the word out and can answer questions, to get into some details to make sure that we are using the right words when we are sharing those protections, right? We want to make sure that it's making sense for our communities. And so real quick on some generally, I know we have the poster board back here on the protections that they have. They primarily fall under the 4 categories of choosing their travel routes and which bridges and tunnels to take. We know that safety is a big issue for our delivery workers. We want to make sure that they can be in control of that, right? They can decide how far they want to go, and they can also control which route they want to go. And if that route includes certain tunnels and bridges that they're not comfortable going, then they can decline, and they don't have to be stuck with that, right? After they've already accepted an order that they're going to deliver. Also, we want to make sure that they have more information, including also the pay and the tips, right? How much did the consumer tip that is actually going to go to their pockets as a delivery worker? So we want them to be able to have, again, as much information and empower them with all of this so that they can make decisions about what's essentially their own business, right? As individuals who are working for themselves. And get paid once a week at least. Huge, right? I mean, when we're out there, there's no way we can plan with our families, for ourselves. Even if you're a family of one, I say, that's still a family, right? You still gotta take care of yourself. You wanna be able to do some planning, food at the table, anything else that you need, paying your rent. And at least if you know how much you're gonna get, because you've decided which deliveries to take on and that pay that's gonna come, and how often we want you to be able to have that reliability. So once a week to get paid, and also make sure that those payments are not going to get smaller and smaller, because there are some fees that are going to be charged to you because of a particular app or system or whichever financial agreement the third-party delivery app is using to pay their workers. And also want to make sure that our workers have the insulated bag, and that's going to kick in after 6 deliveries for a particular third-party app. They will have to give their workers that insulated bag. Huge thing, these laws apply to everybody regardless of immigration status. We know that in New York City we have a large population that's immigrant in general, and we know that there are some that have not regularized their status to one that really gives them that confidence, right, to stand up and claim certain rights. So this is one of those laws that does apply to anybody, everybody, regardless of immigration status. So we're very proud of that coverage of the law. And of course, if anybody has any questions, complaints to file, this just started last Friday, right? The effective day was last Friday. So as people get used to these laws, any questions, please call 311 or go to our website at DCWP. Ask us the questions, file the complaints so that we can look into them and make sure that these laws are having the impact that we want them to have, which is to better, give some stability and some security to these workers that really were essential workers, continue to be, and we need them. So let's give them the treatment they deserve.
Thank you. Let's start with, hold on. Before we start with the Q&A, can we do an introduction?
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. See, it's gonna come out because it's selfish. I'm no one here without the amazing team. And Aditi, why don't you introduce yourself?
Thank you so much, Commissioner Mayuga. Hi, everybody. My name is Aditi Sen, and I'm the Director of Programs at the Office of Labor and Policy Standards, which is the division of DCWP that's helping enforce these worker protections. Thanks so much for having me today.
And also, Commissioner, can you provide a background about you and how you guys, so they are aware of where
Who I am?
you're coming from?
Yes. So, I landed here. I think my background actually fits nicely into this position. I was at the state government for probably more than 10 years actually, and right before being commissioner at DCWP, I was Deputy Secretary of State at the New York Department of State, and I oversaw a number of divisions, including the Office for New Americans, which is similar to Moya in the city, but at the state level, and the Division of Consumer Protection at the state level. So at least in those two pieces, you can see how I'm passionate about this work and making sure immigrant communities have everything they need to succeed. And then prior to that, I was also at the Department of Labor at the state level, overseeing as Deputy Commissioner of Worker Protection as one of the units, and also the Division of Immigrant Policies and Affairs. I've always been doing work in one way or another related to vulnerable populations, immigrant communities, not just in New York City, but in New York State. New York State is very different than just New York City when you're thinking of immigration policy and things like that. So that's an area that I worked on. That's generally, my background, but pretty much all government. I worked also at the federal level at the Southern District as a paralegal. When I first moved to New York, I actually moved to New York 2 weeks after 9/11. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, but I was determined to come to New York City. I don't know, probably it's that amazing city that we all like to call home, and I still love it. And here I am. Serving New Yorkers, and I'm very passionate about having a seat at the table for people like us, right, that look like us, that sound like us, and making sure that others who are making decisions are aware of those realities, so that we truly are serving all New Yorkers.
Great. So let's gonna start the Q&A, and please identify yourself and the outlet. So,
quiero felicitarle ante todo, no quiero cuestionarle porque sé el trabajo que usted ha venido haciendo a favor de la comunidad, donde quiera que usted ha estado, comisionada Mayuga. Ese es su apellido, ¿no? Mayuga.
Sí, de mi esposo, pero está bien. Yo le dije que sí, así es que.
Así que solamente quiero felicitarla. Yo tengo que irme porque tengo programaciones ahora, tengo al comisionado de inmigración que va para allá.
Excelente.
Y quiero, a través de él, hacerle también una invitación. Gracias, Heredia, por haberme invitado. Pero solamente le digo, siga haciendo el trabajo que usted va haciendo porque va por buen camino.
Gracias.
La comunidad la quiere y la respalda y la respeta.
Ay, muchísimas
¿Tienes
gracias.
alguna pregunta?
Éxito. No
Ok.
quiero cuestionarla porque yo sé que no hay cuestionamiento.
Gracias,
Ok.
muchas gracias.
Javier Castaño.
I'm Javier Castaño from Queens Latino. These new regulations affect workers who deliver food.
Right.
And I have identified 4 categories. Can you be more specific how each category is being affected? One, those who deliver by bike,
Mhm,
those who deliver a bike with a motor,
mhm.
and those who deliver by a motorcycle, and even those who deliver by walking. So is the same law, or they need a specific permit or whatever?
In terms of the laws, because, let me not get this wrong, they all, it's the same, right, doesn't it? Yeah, it's all the same. He speaks, good, tell the expert. They're all the same. In terms of a permit, not a permit through us, the one that needs a license for us is the third-party app that is providing the service, you know, that is connecting the worker basically to the food. When you go place the order and you're using an app, right, and you do it through that app as opposed to directly through the restaurant or calling the restaurant and things like that, for example, because the restaurant might have their own workers, that application has to get a license from us, and that was effective in
It
January.
doesn't matter if you're delivering by walking or by bike.
No,
No.
It's the same. Okay.
correct.
But what about if I deliver the food by walking and then the next Monday I have a motorcycle? Do I need?
No, that's fine. It,
I
all
don't
of
need a
the-
permit.
All of these apply
No,
to
the worker.
you as a
Okay.
worker, no matter what mode.
I mean, I certainly hope that if somebody's driving a vehicle, it's not a bike, they do get
Yeah.
to get their DMV license. I don't,
totally
but it's not,
separate.
but not us. It's nothing for our requirements.
Workers do not need to register or anything through us.
So, I'm sorry, I have a,
A
I'm not a
follow-up?
reporter, but I have a question. It's just for my own background. Is on, because Javier mentioned the categories of delivery, but are these, for example, these small bikes, are they legal in the city for delivery and that? Or
There are certain, you know,
Well,
the e-bikes.
Yeah, the e-bikes, the motor, bikes with motors and that. So because scooters and like
Yeah.
in the past I heard from different agencies that they say that some of them they were not allowed to be on the streets or.
Well, I think, yeah,
What's
that's a
the situation?
different issue, right? I mean, in terms of Department of Transportation and NYPD may have certain rules in terms of where certain vehicles are ridden or driven,
Yeah, so
whether it's
I
on the
guess
street
the
or the sidewalk.
DOT is in charge of that
But-
part.
Yeah, but I wouldn't dare try to like get into all the specifics for those rules because it wouldn't be DCWP, but in terms of transportation, and we can certainly, if you think it's helpful, we can certainly get those details so that when
Yeah,
you're
we can.
talking about this, it's more comprehensive.
Yeah, we can share. DOT has like a poster that lays out the different types of electronic vehicles and which
Mhm.
ones are permitted, which ones aren't. But there was a change a few years back that allows the e-bikes that you see most delivery workers using that plug in and charge. Those are legal. Those are permitted. There was a change in the law, and those are permitted.
Okay, that's a question for DOT then.
Yeah.
El diario.
Sí, hola comisionada, Edwin Martínez del periódico El Diario. Mi pregunta va enfocada hacia el tema del uso de las motos y la protección que se le puede dar a los deliveristas, porque una de las grandes quejas es que a muchos los están robando. Usted está representando esta agencia con este programa interesante, pero menciona que no tiene conexión con la policía o no tiene la información de lo que la policía está haciendo. ¿No le parece importante que haya una unidad de las agencias para realmente proteger a nuestros deliveristas? ¿Y qué le dice a esos deliveristas que están afuera que esto les parece fenomenal, pero que están pidiendo que realmente haya protecciones a sus bicicletas y a sus motos, no solo de los ladrones, sino también evitar que la policía les ponga multas, porque les está poniendo muchas multas, incluso cuando un deliverista deja algo y deja su moto al lado del andén?
Gracias. No, definitivamente no quiero decir completamente que estamos separados, solo que a veces es verdad que hay ciertas áreas que caen bajo una agencia y pues no puedo hablar a nombre de esa agencia en cuanto a los detalles, de la misma manera que puedo hablar de los de nosotros. Pero definitivamente sí colaboramos y volvemos, como estábamos diciendo sobre el Departamento de Transportación, si hay información que es mejor tener en la Junta, también podemos hacer eso con la policía. El jueves, cuando estábamos anunciando aquí mismo al frente de City Hall las protecciones que iban a ser efectivas el viernes, estaba la policía aquí trabajando con los organizadores para ayudar con las bicicletas, registrar, hacerles el registro y todo eso que se hacen eventos particularmente para atraer a los deliveristas que quizás no conocen de todos esos detalles. Entonces sí lo podemos hacer y si hay algún área en particular, por favor, nos dices para nosotros encargarnos y asegurarnos de que si es una comunidad en particular, algún cuartel de la policía en particular, que quizás la comunidad se siente no está respondiendo particularmente a algo, pues entonces nosotros
O sea, pueden hacer
hacer.
la queja directamente con ustedes.
Claro, que hagan la queja y nosotros conectamos.
Okay, just to summarize, so
Okay,
what is the
I
collaboration?
forget.
I'll do it. I'll do the question and you do the answer.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so what is the collaboration between the agency and the NYPD just to protect or work with the delivery workers? So, Commissioner?
Thank you. So I was saying that just like we talked about Department of Transportation and some information that's going to be specific to them and the vehicles, and if you find it more comprehensive, right, to like have it all together, we can work with those agencies. Similarly with the NYPD, there are particular issue that came up with a particular community, a particularly NYPD precinct. We can certainly hear that concern from the delivery worker and connect with the specific, NYPD precinct and make sure that there's nothing lost in translation, right? And that we can provide all the services that the community needs.
Primera línea.
Primera línea, Luis Martínez. I have only one doubt. This is only related to restaurant deliveries or all deliveries?
This is only for food delivery workers that do it through a third-party app.
Instacart goes into this category?
They do not.
Okay.
It's food ready for consumption. I'm trying to like picture. I
Prepared
know.
food, that's what you mean.
What?
It's only prepared food? Or
It's prepared food. It's through the restaurants, or when you pick
Okay.
it up through the restaurants. What the only little caveat is that if there's an app that also offers, right, other things beyond this category of like food from restaurants, then those other deliveries will be covered as well. But if you go to a particular app and like one option is to order from restaurants, but there's also other things that you can order from them, then that's going to be covered as well. Yo soy comisionada, pero es algo en lo que yo creo mucho, ¿verdad? Si alguien viene a donde mí como una agencia, para mí es como si viniera a cualquier agencia de la ciudad, ¿no? Y si es algo que no es para nosotros atender, pero sí hay otro servicio que otra agencia pueda atender, entonces nosotros o referimos o conectamos. No me gusta tampoco decir llama ya y a ver si llamaste o no. También lo que decíamos trabajando con las distintas organizaciones de la comunidad para diseminar información que quizás no es solo nuestra. So, por ejemplo, en cuanto al plan de salud, sabemos que muchos deliveristas sí cualifican para ciertos beneficios de salud y en ese caso pues nos ponemos en contacto con el Departamento de Salud para que reciban esos servicios. En cuanto a, por ejemplo, lo de financiero, otro aspecto, otra oficina que sí cae dentro de la Agencia de Protección al Consumidor y al Trabajador son los centros de poder financiero, donde hay oficinas a través de todos los condados de Nueva York, donde tú puedes sacar una cita gratis y confidencial y sentarse con un consejero financiero que te va a decir, mira, ok, vamos a sentarnos, ¿cuál es tu situación? ¿Cuáles son tus deudas? ¿Qué podemos negociar con ciertos, puede ser compañías no crediticias y todo eso, donde puedas negociar quizás una mejor tasa de interés, o cómo lograr, particularmente lo hicimos mucho con los préstamos estudiantiles. Sabemos que nuestra comunidad pues, yo misma cuando yo fui a la universidad, mi mamá la que me ayudó fue mi hermano porque era mayor que yo, ya la había hecho, no mis papás porque no sabían cómo hacerlo. Todo ese tipo de cosas, y de hecho hemos logrado eliminar 85 millones de deuda desde que empezaron estos centros de empoderamiento hace varios años y logrado que lleguen a 10 millones de ahorros. Por eso mismo, esos dos aspectos te puedo dar como ejemplo, y si hay alguna otra situación, el equipo también sabe mucho bien todos los distintos servicios y si no, ustedes yo sé que me lo van a recordar.
Just to summarize,
I'm so
the
sorry.
question was that what services or protections the city offers to delivery workers? So
Yes, in general. And so, like, for example, if somebody comes to us, right, because of worker protection or consumer protection issues, certainly if it's not us, we'll like to connect them with other agencies. For example, some of the delivery workers do qualify for the free health insurance, so we would make sure that they are connected properly to get that. And we also have within DCWP the Office of Financial Empowerment, where we have centers throughout all the 5 boroughs where people can make appointments to receive free services with a financial counselor to address debt and ways for them to increase their savings. I know that sometimes it's like, what savings? I can barely pay my bills. But whatever it is, that they can sit down with somebody who can really help them and look at their situation and move them towards a path of better financial health. And we've done that by already saving like $85 million to New Yorkers since the inception of these financial empowerment centers as well.
China Press? Right here.
Sí, saludo comisionada. Me gustaría esta pregunta muy bien en español. Estaba escuchando al compañero que estaba haciendo un acápite de las protecciones a los más de 65,000 deliveristas que existen en la ciudad. Muy interesante. Pero en mi comunidad, Washington Heights, también dentro de ese paquete, en cierta reforma que se haría, tomar en cuenta los tantos accidentes que están provocando los delivery, que la comunidad le tiene miedo, no puede reclamarle, no sabe a qué reclamarle, no puede hacer una queja en la policía, quizás no la hacen, persona mayor, el ciclista va a 100 millas por hora literalmente, bajo las 3 condiciones, tanto a pie, caminando como quiera, choca y nadie nos va a proteger dentro de esa iniciativa que está interesante. Como os dijo, la protección de ellos y la protección de nosotros, los que vivimos en la comunidad.
Claro, definitivamente los trabajadores tienen que cumplir con esas leyes también. Parte de la razón por la que estas protecciones se establecieron es precisamente para que no haya esa prisa de llegar a cierto sitio, y sobre todo una vez establezcamos el pago mínimo, que es lo que vamos a emitir en enero, después de la vista pública que hagamos en junio y toda la información que continuemos recibiendo. Parte del impacto que entendemos va a tener es eso, que el deliverista no va a estar, no quiero decir que la gente espere a enero para quejarse o, ¿verdad?, tener sus asuntos, pero esa es parte del impacto que entendemos la ley va a tener. En cuanto a la comunidad, Dios mío, no sé, yo te diría que la ciudad de Nueva York es de las ciudades más abiertas y que más recibe a las personas de distintas culturas y en cuanto a inmigración o todo eso, si ese es el temor para las personas reportar algo. Pero necesitamos que reporten, ¿no? Porque es que si no es difícil atender la situación. No sé si hay dependiendo de la comunidad, yo pienso que de nuevo las organizaciones sin fines de lucro que trabajan en la comunidad son a veces los mejores medios, ¿no?, para comunicarse y hablar entre todos para atender los asuntos que son específicos para la comunidad y que no necesariamente son de una agencia de la ciudad. Pero los deliveristas, o sea, eso sí, estas protecciones están, pero tienen que cumplir con las leyes de tráfico.
So the question was about the responsibility of the delivery workers in the communities, so how they behave when they are on the street. So sometimes the reporter is saying that in the Washington Heights community, so sometimes they speed up on the streets. So if people from the community, they can present complaints to the city.
Right, and what I was saying is that part of the impact of these laws, right, is to promote, encourage the workers to basically not go so fast, for example, because especially as we set the minimum pay that will come out in January, the idea is that I'm going to give you enough that you're not going to be so desperate to go from point A to point B and then again as you do more deliveries. But certainly all of the delivery workers have to comply also with the laws, the traffic laws that apply to them. I don't think I can defend anything about that. And if there is a particular community group, right, community-based organization that is known in the community, I think sometimes those are also great avenues where to bring issues that are specific to that community so they can all talk and also have that impact and not only wait for the city to take some action, especially is after Puerto was saying, right, people are not always reporting these cases because they're afraid for themselves or anything else.
So now we can go for a